talking about a solar eclipse that will be happening on the 21st of September. I actually wanted to make this video on the night before, but I do have a bit of time to do it now, and I think that it is quite okay to start early. Now, when we talk about the solar eclipse, we are talking about a phenomenal event in our lives, and even if we don't watch it happening, it is still quite important to us. By the way, this is Mita, your astrology journalist, right? Because I bring you the current news in detail. But focusing on what we are focusing on today, the solar eclipse, it is important, as I said, in our lives because it signifies huge changes that would be happening in our lives, and it's going to be in Virgo, the Virgo sign, and signifying everything that is represented by the Virgo sign. And because we also have Mercury right now in Virgo, this is going to bring a change also in communication. So it could be communication with the people that we talk to on a daily basis, or communication regarding employment. All right, so we will be getting news definitely about a lot of changes happening in the employment sector. And what you should also expect to happen is that there would be some females that will be promoted into bigger positions, whereby they will take over the positions that were previously held by males. And this is going to be not an easy ride for those women who do get in those positions, in those top positions of leadership. It's not going to be a smooth ride. There are going to be lots of problems actually, but you know, this would be a strengthened endeavor, particularly I would say next month, starting from next month, and like late next month, right? So now, solar eclipse, it is basically seen or observed when the moon goes over the sun. Obviously, we always obviously looking from the direction of the earth. So now what it means is that Mercury and moon are not always, cordial right together, and moon and sun, they are definitely best friends. So this is not an eclipse that a lot of people should be afraid about. This is not one of those and this actually gives an opportunity for partners to resolve issues, conflicts, and to nitpick and take out the flaws and place them on the table and talk about it, because Mercury communication is with mind. So together they can create a solution towards, resolving their conflicts. And with sun is going to definitely bring up the issues and make the partners to be clear about the issues So this solar eclipse is actually bringing, yes, definitely, there will be emotions that are taking over because it is the moon going over the sun. So there will definitely be emotions that come up here. There will be emotions that may make the arguments to be really heavy, because imagine the sun being covered, that is light, being covered by moon. Moon is all about emotions, it's all about water. So of course, when you take a bulb and you place it in the water, right, it's still, or okay, let's use a candle. If you take the candle, you place it in the water, or you cover it somehow, it is still candlelit, right? But then it will bring up this beautiful a light, different, unique. So this is exactly what will be happening here, because there's Mercury, which is exalted here. This is Mercury in its own sign, handling the arguments, handling the conflicts, handling the emotional part that will be brought by moon to say, hold on, let's be logical here. So this solar eclipse is, giving an opportunity for people to bring out their emotions, but then not just bring them up to make arguments, to bring out conflicts for the sake of bringing out conflict, but it is to be able to talk about things and really go deep down to the root of the problems, because Virgo is about problems. This is a sign of problems. So right now we are given an opportunity to dig deep down in ourselves and in our relationship and look for the small problems that are eating up our relationships and bring them out in the open sunlight. Bring them out in the open. Talk about them. Mercury, talk, communicate. What's in your mind, moon? What is in your mind? What is in your mind? Emotions. Speak about all of these things. Resolve problems, Virgo. Resolve conflict, Virgo. Resolve those problems. This is a time to save our relationships, actually, but in a very honest manner. Honesty, sunlight, reveal information, Mercury, reveal. Clouded, accepted, yes, granted, moon, right, clouded a bit, but strengthened because of the Mercury power here that is here, exalted. So then, ladies and gentlemen, we just don't have an excuse now to say, oh, the solar eclipse, is just, covering our direction in this relationship, because the sun also represents direction. We don't have the excuse, because we have literally all the tools that we need to heal. Virgo sign, healing. We have the tools. We have the light, sun. We have the emotions and mind that must be placed on the table and be discussed. Mercury, discussed. To heal, Virgo, to heal conflict, Virgo. So if you feel at this time your emotions coming up and you feel like they're bubbling and something has been bothering you it's, this is the time it's naturally going to come up, because the moon is literally being above the sun relative to how we see it from the earth, obviously. So then at this time, there will be transformations in our relationships for sure. Why? Because what has been happening, remember, is that we do have the polluter. We do have the polluter in Capricorn. And we are required by the Uranus in Taurus, speech, talking, to bring up innovative ways to resolve things and talk about things, to bring transformation. So what I do see is that many people in our relationships obviously will be talking about what's been happening regarding to the fights. Why is that? Because Mars and Lilith are in Libra of relationships, and that is second to Mercury, Moon and Sun. That is the second place from the solar eclipse. So there is no way but to talk about arguments that have been happening. Mars in Libra is argument. Okay, you just called to be open now about everything that's been bothering you. This is the time, this is the perfect time to sit down with your partner, with your business partner, with your boss, with your whoever that you have a bone to pick with. This is the right time. All the tools are placed on the table. So what is happening also is that from the solar eclipse, we do have a semi-sextile with the Venus and Ketu. We must remember that. And it is highly beneficial for your relationship because of that semi-sextile, for you to talk about the issues. There is, it doesn't matter how, which angle I use to look at the solar eclipse from the charts, everything is leading up to placing everything on the table, talking about everything, discussing what's been eating you up. Because even if I look at it from the Gemini sign, from Jupiter, it's making a square to Jupiter, meaning that this is where sacrifices must be made, and things need to be shifted around. And the Jupiter, when it comes to the Virgo sign here, it's going to give the emotional part, like the emotional support when it comes to communication as well. We just don't have any choice here but to discuss all issues, all conflicts, resolve them, place them on the table. It's all about what's been bothering you. Emotions, all those bottled up emotions must come out now. Yes, as I said, temporarily it may seem like they are clouding the direction because sun, solar eclipse, moon over sun, but it's necessary because it's getting the support of Mercury. Now, Mercury and moon together, there's definitely going to be somebody blamed in the relationship, okay? We expect that. One partner is going to say, you have been treating me like this. You have been doing 1, 2, 3. I don't appreciate this. You've been hurting me, or you've not been, keeping up your promise. It's expected. It ought to happen because Mercury and moon together, they bring up such things naturally. And now being in Virgo, definitely the emotions will be critiqued as well. So maybe your partner may judge you for being too emotional at this time, but it's okay, It's okay because to get to the other side, we must start at the dark side, no? There will be a time when this solar eclipse is done, and then we will have Mercury and Sun again together, being able to resolve everything that will be brought up by this solar eclipse. We should not be afraid about the aftermath of, talking about what's been bothering us. It's needed. You have the tools now. The Venus in Leo is asking for this to be talked about as well. It is highly critical now because the solar eclipse is opposing Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is about what? Commitment. It's about commitment. And being retrograde now, it's literally asking us to revert, to go back, reverse, restructure, look at what's been happening in our commitments. What needs to die in this relationship for it to go forward? Because Pisces is about death, final death. It's not the 8th house. It's not the 8th house energy. It's not Scorpio. It's not about death and rebirth. These are the things that need to be done. This problem, it needs to be done. We need to take it out, talk about it, and it needs to be done. We don't go back to it anymore. It's done. Completo. Pisces, complete. This is a sign of completion. Once we talk about it, because the solar eclipse is empowering us, we'll not go back to it, okay? All the hurts we're going to discuss now, we're going to discuss them so that we have a resolution and we go forward and we never discuss these things again. I tell you what you've done to me. You tell me what I've done to you. I tell you how you've made me feel. You tell me how I've made you feel. But we will not talk about it again. We're utilizing this retrograde certain energy with this Mercury in Virgo, with this moon in Virgo, with the sun in Virgo, to heal our commitment, our relationship, because Venus in Leo is also asking us to talk about it. Because this solar eclipse is second places away from Venus. Talk, second places, second house, speech, talk, ha. We have no choice. So to fix this relationship, to fix this marriage, to fix this affair, we have no choice. So you need to tell me what you're feeling. I need to tell you how I'm feeling. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about this now. We're going to resolve all these issues now. Thanks to this solar eclipse. Right? So this is what is being asked of us when it comes to this solar eclipse. And now I just want to go and give you the grander impact or the after effect result. Let's go. Well, that was just an excuse for me to have my tea. I didn't need to pause. But, a girl has to have her tea. It is 3 a.m. I need to be powered up. So we also must just be careful that we may be involved in other people's conflicts at this time. So if you are associated with somebody, maybe you are my friend and I'm having issues with my husband, and you may be implicated in that just by proximity, being my friend. So there's a lot of these entanglements that will be happening due to this solar eclipse. So a lot of people being involved automatically or by default in other people's argument, conflicts, and all of that. And what I want to also highlight now is that many arguments will be about third parties. Why is that? It is because the 6th house, we must remember, it is the house of a third party in the relationship, because it is 12 places away from the 7th house. And it is definitely the third party of your spouse. But at the same time, because we have Venus in Leo, which is 12 places away from the solar eclipse, so again, another third party situation. So many of our conflicts will be about bringing up issues relating to third parties. Now, when we talk about third parties, we don't always talk about affairs, like having an affair. We can also talk about a third party in terms of business, whereby your business partner has not told you that they're actually fishing around looking for other businesses with other people or doing businesses with other people. So most of the time we must always open up our mind into other possibilities. It could also be about if there's a family member whereby your brother has not been telling you what's been bothering him, but telling your mom, your dad, and keeping you in the dark. So that also a third party situation whereby you become the third party in what's been happening in his life, and now you don't know, but now as you finally get to talk about it and find out about these things, because the solar eclipse will bring up such a mental bothering, like what's been bothering you mentally, because Mercury is going to force out all these emotions to be dealt with. This is a Virgo sign. This is a fixer sign. This is where people fix things. This is where people criticize things, break them down into small pieces, into small bits and bits of pieces. So definitely there's no going around this. Like if Mercury was not in conjunct in this eclipse, many of these things would have been just criticized without resolution. But the Mercury part is helping us to resolve, not just be emotional about things and bring them up emotionally. no, it is also to bring up a solution. We have the mind, the intelligence, and the direction all together in one place to heal, because Virgo is about healing. So we're definitely going to heal these relationships. Just mind that when there's a third party situation, or you are the third party in the situation, then you may be like implicated, by default, by being in the proximity, right? And maybe you have to defend yourself as well, or you have to say something or give an opinion, or be a matter of the discussion. So this is highly, highly important now to note. And of course, on the 20th, which is going to be the day before, and until the 20th, so there's going to be a lot of extreme endings here, because remember, when we are talking about what's been bothering us, we can't anticipate the reactions of the other people here. As I said in my prior video, if you guys remember, that Mars is in Libra, whereby things are going to get physical, and may get physical in resolving issues or negotiations and diplomacy. So people need to be careful, because with this solar eclipse bringing up these emotions in a very critical way or criticizing way, some partners may react with anger and with violence because of the Mars that is with Lilith in Libra. So some violence, around the 20th, 21st, we just need to be careful in general. And I do obviously see as well that the relationships could be stormy at this time, as I said, bring up the emotions, and wanting to talk about it can obviously definitely bring up the storm within the relationship. But as I said, it's a necessary storm, because every tool is on the table. So this is like a time whereby now the patient has come in, and their body is just torn from maybe having a car accident. It's on the table, and all the doctors are here, and all the equipment to fix the body, they're here. And now it's just time to fix it. Like, there's the damage. Yes, we can see the blood. We can see the wounds. We can just see the scary, 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 scary image in front of us. But we have the tools. This is what we need to know. We have the tools to stop the bleeding. We have the tools to, sew up the wounds. We have the tools, the necessary tools. So do not fear. Yes, there may be endings, obviously there will be endings, because the transformation must happen. That's what the Pluto is asking in the Capricorn. The transformation must happen for sure. I also do see that with that Mercury there, there is also a lot of underhand things that may be used now, because Mercury in Virgo is exalted. It means that it is at its highest point of being clever, of being cunning, of knowing what's the right thing to say to win the argument, because Virgo arguments problems, right? So just be careful about not being too manipulative, because Moon in such situations can be manipulative to survive. So need to remember that. Now, I do see in general that there could also be the duality being balanced now, because Mercury is at its highest peak. It can balance its duality. Mercury is very dual. It's a dual planet, and in Virgo it is able to be very logical and nicely weigh the problems and measure them in a precise way. Jealousy is going to come up for sure. Possessiveness is going to come up for sure, because when Moon is at a pressed position, it becomes manipulative. And this is what a lot of people should understand about the Moon. When it's when it's pushed in the corner, literally, when it's pushed in the corner, it becomes manipulative. But the Mercury will help and balance things out. Not to worry so much. Now, I do also see that many communications that are done, even if they are towards the ending of the relationships or towards ending things in general, in the long run, they will show some strength. They will give strength, or there would have been a foundation towards a supportive outcome, for sure. What I also do see is, people being restless, definitely. Moon in Virgo becomes restless. This is a sign of service. This is a sign of nitpicking. This is a sign of just breaking things down into small pieces. So people are busy, restless, wanting to talk about this, wanting to talk about that, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, because Virgo is all about also the daily things that we do in our house, in our home, in our routines. All right, so busy. Impulse coming up, but controlled by Mercury. We really like it to have Mercury at this time with this solar eclipse. We are definitely lucky. And this part definitely has nothing to do with anything regarding our relationships, but I do see that around the 20th and the 21st, there would be a public figure who will lose their daughter at this time. I also do see that around the 22nd, like 21st, 22nd, right, when the eclipse is like right on the day, or after, like on the 22nd, I do see it's, some need to continue talking in an intellectual way, Mercury Virgo, in an intellectual way to resolve things, to continue the conversation, even though obviously Moon would be at its way to get out of the sign, because that Moon is getting out of the Virgo sign on the 23rd. I do see some insecurities, obviously, that would have been brought up by the solar eclipse. Moon, Virgo, lots of insecurity being brought up here. And at the same time, there would be obviously a lot of movement, because Moon in Virgo, Mercury in Virgo heightens our routines and what we do daily, right? So that becomes a very busy, just moving up and down. It could be literal physical movement or mind, so that is very visible here. Oh, by the way, generally, because this is a health sign, there could also be an announcement now of a solution, or relating to treating a disease, or invention of something that will treat diseases or will make health life better, stuff like this. So there could be an announcement like this as well. And I do see that when it comes to, these groups like NATO, like European Union, like these big groups, there are conversations. They are definitely having conversations, and they are conversations that want to end conflict. So it could be conflict that is happening Russia, Ukraine, or conflict happening Palestine, Israel, but this group of countries, leaders, they are talking about that. There's a lot of intellectual solutions that are being placed on the table, lots of diplomacy that is being attempted at this time. But there's also a feeling of being aloof, whereby it's like some people don't understand really, what should happen or what is happening. And at the same time, hidden agendas, definitely, obviously, that's given. And I also do see, actually, they're going to be talking about, not about Russia, but about the Palestine and Israel situation. That's for sure. So it's going to be these groups. So if it maybe it could be the UN, or but it's a group of countries that are going to be talking about this, and they're watching the situation for sure. And at this time, there could be something relating to the neck area, throat area. Maybe a leader has, I don't know, like a cough, but something relating to their neck area. So, or maybe they, I don't know, they eat something they're not supposed to eat. They say something they're not supposed to say at this time. I do also see that there's a lot of dependency that needs to be let go. That needs to be let go, because when it's happening when Venus and Ketu are in Leo, Leo, Ketu is a separator, and Venus is all about companionship, relationships, and Venus also comes with card dependency. So a lot of people, even in our relationships, we are asked to stop being too dependent on our partners, on our people, on our relationships. We must find that individuality, that lion within us, right? So this is also the same with the leaders and countries, whereby they're trying to require each other to take the lead and not be too dependent, right? So there's that dependency, which is becoming a problem. And I do see that on the 22nd and the 23rd here, we're continuing to have these relationship talks, very serious, talking about what's bothering us, hardships, all of these things. Heaviness, the conversation is still continuing, because Moon is still here in Virgo. So we still continue to talk about this, put things in the table, but at the same time, feeling tired, because remember, again, Virgo health. So feeling tired when you've been talking, arguing, conflict, trying to find a solution, you're feeling a bit tired, you're feeling a bit taken aback, but at the same time, there's that light of progress and movement towards something, because, as I said, all the tools are here on the table at this time. All right, we're very lucky at this time. Things are happening. We're getting tired. We're arguing. We're fighting, emotional. All of these things, getting exhausted. But we are seeing that there is a movement towards a solution. So then I'll come back on the next video and discuss what will be happening further down the days when it comes to our relationships, because we would have been astronomically done with the solar eclipse. And let's discuss. And then for now, I must say thank you, and I'll chat to you soon. Apinto, ciao. So I just want to get, to the end of this part, because, so it's not going to be a lot of people, but I need to talk about it because I do see that between the 20th and the 22nd, there is, as I already spoke about, a leader or a public figure losing their daughter at this time. It is also highly possible that there might be another leader that loses a spouse at this time. So it could be a spouse, highly possibly a woman, but it could also be, a feminine partner, or like, let's say maybe they are gays, they lose their husband. And yeah, but there is definitely those types of vibes around the 20th and the 22nd due to the solar eclipse. But of course, I don't want to talk about this with everybody, so this is why I'm leaving it, right after everybody has left. And I do want to caution, definitely, and obviously gather prayers spiritually for the president of the world, Mr. Donald Trump, because the solar eclipse is actually not bringing too much favor, for him. So I do want people to really gather spiritually and pray for him, because he is, in my opinion, trying to do the good work, and so. And what else? I also do see some news regarding, I would say, like around the 24th until the 26th. I do see news regarding to Russia at this time. And what will be happening actually is that there could be something relating to the policy, or they have to enforce, some policy related. It could be related to the Ukraine situation, or it could be relating to their partners at this time. So I do see that. And when it comes to, let's say, the 22nd until the 24th, let's say, right, definitely here there's talks again about Israel. And what I do see is maybe some countries, they demand Israel to commit themselves to a certain agreement at this time. So I do see that. And, or they could be forcing them, like giving them an alternative, 2 days or that. So that's visible here. I do see a talk about regarding the resources of Pakistan at this time. So maybe they are needing to restructure, reshuffle something to make sure that they accumulate resources or guard their resources at this time. So I do see that coming up around these dates. Now, when it comes to India, there could be talks. As I said, in my previous videos, I do see some talks between India and the USA. I did say that. And it's so incredible, because thereafter, then there was that message about the president of India, saying that he spoke on the phone with President Donald Trump, because I already seen it in the chart and I told you guys. And so these things really do show in the chart. What I also do is I do see continuation of those negotiations, that's for sure. Now I also do see that when it comes to Iran, as I said, I do see them building a foundation and having some structures that will assure their continuation of the country or enrichment of the country. So I do see that continuing as well. Now this is a really goodbye. I've been to ciao.